Welcome back, everybody. Justin is back, Thicker Than Blood podcast. I'm here to make some UFC picks for tonight's event, Kelvin Gastelum versus Jack Hermansson, the co-main event on UFC Fight Night in Abu Dhabi on Fight Island. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of this whole thing and break this fight down. First, we're going to take Kelvin Gastelum. One of my favorite fighters at middleweight, was a welterweight, okay? We have the situation that has plagued a lot of fighters of missing weight, deciding, I don't want to do that anymore, why don't I just fight at my natural weight class? My personal opinion is Kelvin is actually a welterweight. He just doesn't like, stop and eat the burritos and stuff like that. Unbelievable middleweight, but let's talk about this for a second. Had some great success at welterweight. Came up through the UFC Ultimate Fighter program, and he wins against his current best friend, Uriah Hall. He wins that, I think it was season 16, I could be wrong about that, looking absolutely fantastic in his rise. Had a fight against Tyron Woodley, which very, very, very close fight. And at the time, Tyron Woodley was dominating everybody. Kelvin looked awesome, but then started missing weight constantly, seemed to be a struggle, moves up to middleweight, and then starts having some serious success. Seems to be undersized compared to a lot of guys in the height region. He's only 5'9". He's got a decent reach though. I believe it's 71.5. Going against an opponent now, Jack Hermansson. This guy, 6'1", same reach, 71.5, 185 pounds. This guy is very, very good. But remember, we need to talk about the last performance of each fighter because you gotta go by, a fighter's only good as his last performance, right? Okay. Kelvin Gastelum is coming off of 2 losses right now. But you gotta look at the 2 guys he actually lost to. Last fight, he lost against Darren Till, another fighter plagued by the dreaded weight cut. Was fighting at 170, looking like a goddamn giant, moves up to 185, has his debut fight against Kelvin Gastelum. That fight, a lot of people called it boring. I just rewatched it a little while ago. I just gotta say, F you to whoever thinks that fight sucked, because it was awesome. If you watch the whole fight, Darren Till looked amazing. Kelvin seemed a little off in that fight. He couldn't get his range down the entire fight, 3 rounds, 5 minutes each. It seems as though he was fighting to get close enough to Darren Till. Normally when Kelvin fights, he is baiting people to come in and then he throws the counterpunch. If you watch the Michael Bisping fight where he knocked him out, that's exactly what happened. He baited Michael Bisping to come in, former champion. He comes in, he tries to land a combination. Kelvin steps back and lands the 1-2 and puts Michael Bisping down. The dude's got serious power in his hands, knockout power, better than most people in the middleweight division and the welterweights. Fought against Darren Till. Darren Till, considered one of the heaviest hands in the UFC. This is confirmed by Jorge Masvidal, who said his jab felt like anyone he ever fought felt like their power shot. The jab did. He was taking the left hand to the face over and over again in his last fight and didn't go down, not once. So clearly Kelvin Gastelum has a chin. Rewind back another fight, 5 rounds, fight of the year, Israel Adesanya, the current middleweight champ, versus Kelvin Gastelum. Clearly there was a size difference there. Kelvin was closing the distance, landing amazing strikes. Ended up losing the decision. Amazing fight. Take Jack Hermansson's last performance against one of the dark horses of the middleweight division, Jared Cannonier. In that fight, started out in the beginning, it seems as though there was a lot of head movement, there was a lot of movement from Jack Hermansson moving back and forth. Jared Cannonier seemed to not be doing that much movement, not really much wasted energy, throwing a lot of leg kicks. He was throwing leg kicks constantly, starting to really piece up Jared Cannonier's leg. Goes for the takedown and actually completes one. And it was actually pretty impressive. Completes a second one, but Jared Cannonier had the whizzer, ended up getting right back up. Jared's power overpowered Jack Hermansson in that fight. You started to see it as the end of the first round started to come to a close. You really started to see that Jack Hermansson started to slow down a little bit and Jared started to open up. He was landing these shots right up the middle. Jack Hermansson fights usually like this, chin down, hands up. Jared Cannonier was going right up the middle, blasting him in the face constantly. Now, if you take the way Kelvin Gastelum fights and he closes the distance, he's a shorter fighter. If he's coming in right up the middle, throwing those jabs, throwing those crosses in there, getting up right up the middle, he's going to land those shots. And if Kelvin Gastelum, I believe, if he lands those shots on Jack Hermansson, I think he puts him down. For my pick on this fight, I'm going to have to go Kelvin Gastelum. He's got 2 losses out of his last, 4 fights, but they were against elite fighters. Going against Jack Hermansson, who just suffered a very bad knockout against Jared Cannonier in his last fight. I'm going to have to go Kelvin Gastelum by knockout in the second round. That's what we're going to call it. Kelvin Gastelum knocks out Jack Hermansson in the second round, probably with punches, if I'm going to get really specific. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know what your pick is. If you believe Jack Hermansson is going to win this fight, let us know how. If you think he is going to win, let us know what round it's going to be in. If you think Kelvin's going to win and you agree with my pick, let us know in the comment section below. Like this video, subscribe to my channel at Thicker Than Blood Podcast, subscribe to Kyle's channel at Kyle Kerms, go to our Instagram at Thicker Than Blood Podcast, like everything you see, dislike if you don't like it, and if you don't like me, tell me why in the comment section. Justin's out.